Hello again. My intuition is telling me that we need to talk about intuition. We have to add that to this mix of emotional regulation, emotional mastery, because you need to partner with your intuition to work through all of this stuff. You cannot do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And I think that's really the biggest fear that people have when it comes to really diving into this pool of emotional stuff that we all are carrying around is, I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know. I mean, I know I certainly felt this way when I first started to kind of like get a glimpse of just how deep this stuff goes. I was like, I might be swallowed up like quicksand. I'm afraid that if I open this Pandora's box, I don't know what's going to come out. And I feel like I'm going to fall into this black hole and never come out. I know I felt that way, and I know some of you might feel that way. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think that's why most people are running away from their emotional pain and doing everything they possibly can to distract themselves from this emotional pain that is chasing them, because they feel like, ooh, if I turn around and face it, I don't know if I'm going to come out on the other side. I know I felt that way. And what I found is that the fear of the pain is worse than the actual pain itself. The fear of what you're going to find, the fear of what you're going to feel is worse than what you actually feel. Don't get me wrong. When you really start doing this emotional work, you're going to feel pain. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel all of those negative emotions that I've been talking about, the fear, anger, sadness, because that is the stuff that you're carrying around. That is the stuff that is in your subconscious. That is the lead that we need to turn into gold. That is the stuff that is holding information for you that is going to tell you more about yourself, more about what you're here to learn, what you're here to practice, what you're here to contribute. That's the stuff to work through, but it's not fun. And so partnering with your intuition, which again is your communication channel to your higher consciousness, your higher self, your soul, it's integral to doing this work. You can't do it alone, and you shouldn't do it alone. This is not left brain stuff. You don't figure your way out of this stuff. There's no rationality to your emotions. We like to think that we're very rational creatures and all that kind of stuff. That lower frequency energy stuff, there's no rationality to that. A lot of it doesn't make sense because a lot of our experiences don't make sense, right? And so trying to figure yourself out through that stuff it's just going to take a lot longer. And partnering with your intuition is faster because your soul, your intuition, your subconscious doesn't work in linear time. It doesn't work in logic. Your subconscious, your unconscious, your energetic field, all of the stuff, the emotions and energy that you're holding, and information that you're holding in your energy field, it does not follow left brain logic, rationality, thinking. It's much more right brain. It's about symbols. It's about imagery. It's about just knowing, feeling your way through. And that's why getting in touch with your intuition is going to help you start to decode what you need to learn as you start to discover, uncover, process, work through those more painful emotional experiences. I want to share with you when I first got in touch with my intuition. I was not one of those people who are like most psychics or mediums or people that you hear, they when they were younger, they were seeing dead people, or they just knew when something was they knew when grandma was going to pass away. They knew, right? I wasn't one of those people. I did have dreams. I did have an out of body experience when I was in high school that I was like, what was that? But for the most part, I was pretty normal. My family was pretty normal. So by the time I got to, let's see, this was 2006. So how old was I? I was 34, something like that. 34 years old. So, middle-aged almost. Hadn't had any experiences with being psychic or intuitive or any of that stuff. Around 2006, I started getting curious about my spiritual self. I was in a place in my life where I was just deeply, deeply unhappy. I'd had a bad breakup years before that I wasn't able to get over. And I could just feel this stuff kind of creeping up, and this curiosity about spirituality started to present itself. So I started meditating, which for me at the time was sitting in my bedroom, closing my eyes, and just trying to be present. And whenever I would do that, I would feel a presence in the room with me. I didn't know what it was. I just would feel a presence. But it was very similar to the same kind of presence I felt when I was a kid. And I was never comfortable at night. I always just felt like there was a presence in the room with me. I was one of those kids. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any, monsters or anything, but I just always felt like there was a presence. I wasn't alone in the room. And so when I was meditating, I felt that familiar presence with me. And I had a lamp on my nightstand. And whenever I would meditate, this lamp would start ticking. What is that? So weird. And around that time, I started getting interested in astrology. I was just seeking, things were starting to what's this about? What's that about? So I had gotten my birth chart done, my astrological birth chart, and I read it, and everything was like, you're psychic, you're psychic, you're psychic, you're very intuitive, you're psychic. But remember, up until this point, I hadn't had any experiences with being a psychic. So I decided to reach out to an astrology website that I sometimes frequented. And the woman who ran, and this was 2006, remember those websites in 2006? So I reached out to this woman, and she was like a psychic medium astrologer kind of a person. And I emailed her. And I was like, hey, so I have been having dreams and I meditate and there's this lamp on my nightstand and it starts ticking and I read my birth chart and it says I'm psychic. What's going on? And the lady wrote back to me and said, yes, you are psychic. You are very intuitive and you're going to use your gifts to help people. And she gave me some exercises to discover how I get my messages, how I receive my messages. If you don't know, there are different ways that intuitives or anybody can receive messages. It's called the clairs, C-L-A-I-R. Clairvoyant is clear seeing, clairaudient is clear hearing, clairsentient is clear feeling, claircognizant is when you just know something. So there's just all of these clairs, right? And so the exercise that she gave me was have someone give you a photograph of a person they know, but you don't know, so they can verify the information. And you sit and visualize the top of your head unzipping, open your crown chakra to the universe, and ask to receive information and see what happens. So I go to work the next day. This can be verified. The woman who did this is still alive. I go to work and I'm like, hey, this woman's name was Suzanne. She was my boss / work bestie. And I was like, hey, Suzanne, so I'm kind of trying to see if I'm a psychic. And can you give me a photograph of a person that you know, I don't know, and I'm going to see what I get, right? So she sends me a photograph. She emails me. Remember email back in 2006? She emails me a photograph of a woman. And so here I am in my work cubicle, right? Remember the cubicles. And I'm looking at my monitor with this photograph of this woman. And I do the activity of unzipping the top of my head. And it's like I started to go inside the photograph. I started to see things, to feel things, to hear things. I started to see that she had a coat on. She didn't have a coat on in the photograph, but she had a coat on. So I was like, she's somewhere cold. I started to zero in on her hand and on her ring finger, which wasn't visible in the photograph. But for whatever reason, I could see her ring finger and I didn't see a ring there. And so I was like, she's unmarried and okay, I'm going to write that down. I'm writing things down on a sticky. And I heard, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. So I wrote that down. Some other things. I give the sticky to my boss / work bestie. And I was just like, oh, this is so stupid. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like, I'm sure everything I wrote down is wrong. And she looked at the sticky and she said, actually, everything's right. She lives in Seattle. I was in Los Angeles at the time. She lived in Seattle. They were just having a snowstorm. So it was definitely cold. She wasn't married. And that was actually a big thing for her because she wanted to be in a relationship. And that I got to go to work that I heard. That's what she wrote in the email when she sent the photograph. Okay, I got to go to work. So I was like, what? Again, I was a skeptic. I didn't know anything about intuition. I didn't know anything about being a psychic. But it was like I had discovered I had the superpower. I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. And so from then, my friend just kept sending me photographs and I would do readings on the photographs. And then we got to the point where she would just write down the name of a person and I would read, the name of the person based off the signature. I mean, just like testing. And then I ended up studying. But anyway, at this point, when I discovered my intuitive gifts, I was like, okay, well, what happens from here? And here's the thing I want to share with you. We are all intuitive. I believe we all have intuition. That is a faculty that I think all human beings are born with. Are some more developed than others? Are some more predisposed than others to use their intuitive faculties? Absolutely. But does everybody have access to their intuition? Absolutely. I think it is just a part of being a human being. Why? Because we are conscious beings. We all have souls. We all have higher selves. And so we need a channel that connects us to our higher consciousness. So we all have intuition. Here's the thing. Discovering you're intuitive is just the first step. Being intuitive does not mean that you are spiritually enlightened. Being intuitive does not mean that you don't have all of this emotional cleanup work to do. Because here's what my intuition told me when I started to get in touch with it way back in 2006. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm an ego now, right? Like, ooh, I'm intuitive. I'm about to be a psychic medium and read people. And my intuition was like, not so fast. You got some work to do on yourself first. That's really what this is all about. Physician, heal thyself. Physician, heal thyself. So the intuition, opening up to my intuition, discovering my intuitive abilities was the beginning of my emotional healing work, not the end. And so all of the stuff that I did over the last 20 years of working with my emotions and all of that stuff that I've been describing to you was because my intuition was directing me. Work on this next. Work on this next. Okay, we need to look at this. Okay, it's time to look at this. Here's what that meant. Here's what that experience meant. It was my intuition guiding me every step of the way. And not only guiding me through the emotional cleanup work, but guiding me in my spiritual evolution. So, it's time to get in touch with your intuition. And I just want to give you a very simple activity to start to work with your intuition. Because essentially what it is, for those of you that are like, I'm not intuitive, that's for those other people. We all are intuitive. And the biggest block, the biggest obstacle between you and your intuition is your belief system. You either are skeptical and don't believe in intuition, you don't believe it's possible, or you believe it's possible, but it's not possible for you. or you believe it's dangerous, it's evil, it's satanic, it's the devil's work. I had a lot of that spiritual programming as well. That was a lot of the work that I had to do and undo. So it's cleaning up your belief system and adopting beliefs that match doing intuitive work. No, intuition is real. This is a real thing. And I have intuition. I am intuitive, and it's possible for me to develop it and strengthen it. That's the belief system that you need to adopt. The other thing is, again, your intuition works in symbols. Your intuition and your imagination are basically one and the same. So strengthening your ability to imagine, to visualize is so incredibly important to developing your intuition, because it all happens, it's happening beyond your sight. It's happening basically, spirituality for me, the definition of spirituality is just beyond the five senses. It's beyond your actual eyes. It's beyond your actual ears. It's beyond your actual touch. It's opening up your other sensory faculties to more information that's out there and that is available to us. And that is not, you've got to develop, you've got to see it in your mind's eye. You've got to hear it through another faculty besides your ear, your auditory faculties, right? So the more that you can start to visualize, imagine, and open that faculty for yourself of your imagination, that is really going to help you work with your intuition. So here is an activity that I want to share with all of you. And it involves visualizing roses. Let's go with roses for now. This is how I learned. This is a system that was developed by the Berkeley Psychic Institute and was taught to me by a woman, shout out to Melinda Hess, a fantastic psychic. And I studied with her for years and years and still, speak with her and get readings from her. Fantastic psychic medium. But this was developed by the Berkeley Psychic Institute. They work with a system of images and symbols. The rose is one of them. So I want you just to sit, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Get yourself present. And the first thing I want you to do is to say hello to your intuition. Decide for yourself that you are going to create a relationship with your intuition. Make the choice. See, free will is all about choice. Free will and choice are synonymous. So you can make a choice right now that you are going to partner with your intuition. I want to partner with my intuition. I want to open myself, open my consciousness and my subconscious to my intuition right now. And I ask my intuition to partner with me as I do this emotional cleanup work that I know is necessary for my spiritual evolution. And just put that out to the universe. Put that out to your intuition. Make the choice to decide that you're going to partner and open up to your intuition. So that's number one, making the choice. Asking. The way to work with spirit, the way to work with your intuition, the way to work with your soul, the way to work with consciousness is to ask. The easiest way is to ask. So that asking, that invitation for your intuition to start to show you and reveal to you and speak to you is a necessary step. Start to show me information, images, smells, hearing things, whatever. Just allow your information to start to kind of filter things through your subconscious, right? Maybe you'll start to notice things in your dreams coming up. Maybe you'll find yourself daydreaming and Certain images will start to float through, maybe in your meditation, certain images or experiences or messages, information will start to permeate, break through. But that's going to be your intuition answering the call, right? Answering the invitation. So that's number one. So right now, my intuition is very open. I can feel my channel opening. And right now, I am channeling my intuition, which is guiding and directing me as I guide you through this visualization activity. Okay. So next step, now that we have asked and invited and made the choice to connect with our intuition, the next step now is to visualize in your mind's eye. I want you to visualize a rose. Now, there are no rules. There are only principles. Now, I use roses. You can use anything you want. You can use a water balloon. You can use a trash can. You can use a football. Whatever you want to visualize. Again, I use roses. There are no rules, only principles. And the principle is this. I want you to visualize as viscerally as possible whatever you decide. I'm going to use a rose because that's what I've been using for the last 20 years. And this rose, or whatever you decide, whatever symbol you decide to use, is going to represent, we're going to program it, right? It's going to represent any emotional energy that no longer serves you. Emotional energy that no longer serves you. All of those fear, anger, sadness feelings that have been stuck in your energy field. They haven't had a way to move, to clear your system, to come up from your unconscious to your consciousness. Now is the time, with the help and partnership of your intuition, for you to visualize a rose or a symbol, whatever you want that to be. Make it as visceral as possible. If you are visualizing a rose, I want that rose to be as red or whatever color you choose. Like, really see the petal, really see the detail, the pattern on the petal. See if you can start to smell that rose. If you're going to use a football, see if you can I can see that football. I can see the texture on the football. I can see the threading on the football because I have a very well-developed imagination, third eye. And so my visualization faculty is very well developed. So this is the work that you're going to be doing. Developing and enhancing your ability to visualize. Okay, so bring that rose. I'm going to be working with a rose from now on. So I'm bringing my rose to the forefront of my vision field, my inner vision field. It's very vibrant. It's a vibrant reddish fuchsia color. I can see the texture of the petals. And I am programming this rose to be any lingering negative emotional energy that no longer serves me. And once you really have that rose in your field, in your inner vision, now I want you to blow it up, destroy it. And basically what you're doing is you're programming your subconscious or your unconscious mind to now begin the task. It's like a program, like you're, creating a program for your computer, for your operating system. So now we are creating a program where our unconscious, subconscious mind is going to start to release negative emotional energy. So bring another rose into your inner vision field, destroy it. Bring another rose, destroy it. And now by destroy it, I mean you can blow it up. I like to almost visualize like I'm hitting it with my fingers and the petals just, fall off. The stem, however you want to do that, but we're destroying it. And again, we're saying, hey, I want to start getting rid of this energy. I want this energy to start moving in my energy field. I don't want it to be stuck anymore. And we're going to just keep this program happening in the background. Even when I'm not thinking about it, it's going to be continuing in my subconscious and my unconscious. And I'm creating a rose and I'm destroying a rose. And I'm creating a rose and I'm destroying a rose. And I'm creating it and I'm destroying it. And you can just do this for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you can. And again, partnering with your intuition. Hey, intuition, this means that I want my subconscious and my unconscious to start moving this energy. So this is a way that you can, you don't have to do it as you are in your conscious waking moments, because we got work to do, right? We got things to do, and you can't be just sitting here, creating and destroying roses all the time. However, I would say as you're starting this process, as you're beginning this process of the emotional cleanup, that you're going to want to do this at least once a day, maybe even twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. If you're having a particularly emotional day, find that time, send to yourself, say hello to your intuition. I want to partner with you. Please assist me in clearing out this emotional energy, create a rose, really see the rose, smell the rose, make it very visceral, destroy it. I'm going to move this energy through my energy field, and it's really going to start to help you. You don't want to start doing this emotional cleanup work without your intuition. Trust me. It's going to make this process so much easier. Okay? So that's it for now. We covered a lot in this video. I'm buzzing. I need to ground myself because I really opened up to my intuition during this video. So I'm going to go ground myself before I do the next one. Until next time, be well. Thank you so much.